Are you ready to unlock the potential of cryptocurrency? Welcome to Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club, the premier destination for crypto enthusiasts and investors worldwide. Our mission? To demystify cryptocurrency and create a supportive community where you can learn, network, and grow. Imagine being part of a thriving crypto ecosystem in various cities around the world. In our first year, we're establishing physical hubs in key cities and launching an informative website. You'll have access to exclusive events, expert-led sessions, and a wealth of resources at your fingertips. Year 2 brings expanded educational programs and a mentorship system to pair crypto newbies with seasoned investors. We're not just a club, we're a movement. Our annual crypto conference will put us on the map as a global crypto capital. By year 3, we'll have our own app, a community investment fund, and a thriving ecosystem of crypto opportunities. Imagine being part of a group that's shaping the future of finance. Join us for workshops, seminars, and networking events designed to boost your crypto knowledge and investment potential. From beginners to experts, there's a place for everyone in our vibrant community. Together, we'll navigate the exciting world of digital currencies and blockchain technology. Ready to take control of your financial future and be part of something revolutionary? Experience our exclusive resort in El Salvador, a paradise for crypto enthusiasts. Call or text 941-391-3882 to join our Owners Weekly Call and start your journey with Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club today.
And we are live, and I do mean we. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Bitcoin Ben, live from St. Louis, Arnold, Missouri. I don't even want to claim fucking St. Louis anymore. Hell, if it gets any worse, I'm just live from Springfield, Missouri.
From a meteorological perspective, Springfield is far worse than St. Louis is.
Oh, I'm just worried. I'm actually talking about the culture.
Oh, well.
Oh, I was in downtown.
Oh, we got culture all right. You can put it in a petri dish.
Yeah.
That's why we're always in the top 3 of STDs on the country.
Oh, last night, because it was so cold, I wasn't going to sleep in the RV because the heat works, but there was no heat to be drawn out of this, area. It was so cold. I'm like, fuck that. We're getting the hotel rooms. And
your blood's so thin now. It wasn't that cold. But, I mean, it's all relative. I know that.
All right, you're used to this. Plus, yes, I have lost a lot of weight. By the way, shout out to me. I'm wearing size 34s. Yeah, baby.
Oh, you're going to start, what is it, Herbalife? You're going to start pushing that? Ask me how much weight I've lost.
Yeah, like the before and after pictures.
Oh, yeah. Which would be interesting, to be honest. But,
I wish I would have actually taken like a nude picture of me prior and now. I mean, neither one of them looks good. I'm just saying, you could see the size comparison.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so back to it. Yeah, get that mental picture out of your head. So we are broadcasting live from the CALIX underground bunker, and it's. What do you think of Trump's? Has it been like only 20 days or like 25 days? It hasn't even.
It was the 20th, right? It was the 20th.
Yeah.
So we're 23 days?
Yeah. 23 days.
Yeah.
How do you view...
Monday was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. How do you view his first 3 weeks-ish
He's making every other president look like they've been in a coma. I mean, he is just light speed ahead. And this is the funny thing. Back during the campaign, we're hearing this crap coming from the left about how he's tired and he has no energy. And I'm thinking, are you watching the same guy I'm watching? Because he's the Energizer Bunny. There's no stopping this guy. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a friggin' machine. And he has, thankfully, they took notes from the first term and they had time to sit down and recalibrate and reconfigure how they go about approaching the presidency and the development of the administration. And they have done a masterful job from every perspective. I think the only area where he's going to run into a little bit of trouble is with the Department of Labor, getting the Secretary of Labor through. But, you thought that was going to happen with a couple of the others. And because they have control of the Senate, it's gone through. And anybody who blanches and decides that they're not going to vote, there's a little bit of pressure being put on members of the Republican Party. Anybody who decides that they're going to backtrack to their rhino days finds themselves with stiff opposition, and it's just not gonna fly. It's not selling in Peoria, and people are listening to this stuff about what's taken place with U.S. aid. With the Democrats being outraged and showing up at the Department of Education demanding entry. Did
you see that guy?
Chris. Oh, yeah. Hats off to the cat standing at the door.
Amen.
I mean, he's got a pair those are bowling balls.
He basically was like this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're not relenting here. But I think the public's reaction to the exposure that's taking place here is, I had no idea. We need to know about this as the Democrats try to sweep it under the rug. And that creates a larger problem because, one, the Democrats are seemingly unwilling to accept that they lost as badly as they did and why they did. Their talking points, their position statements, everything else in the election, whether it was for Congress or it was for president, just missed the mark tremendously. And people are sick and tired of paying for stuff they shouldn't be paying for. And here we are. We got the Doge boys showing us exactly what we're paying for, how much we're paying, and people are just beyond honked off. Yeah. And Elon's unelected. He shouldn't be doing this. I'm sorry, Anthony Fauci,
Bingo.
George Soros. I think you start the list, and the unelected have up Gates.
Oh yeah. Yeah, in fact, we're actually going to watch a clip here of Elon explaining the government retirement process. It's almost fucking comical. He goes, literally, and wait till you hear him say, they have to fill out the paperwork in paper. Like there's no online process. There's no then they literally have to send it down into what he calls like a dungeon or something. And it has to be processed. And there's 1,000 people working in the retirement department. and they're only allowed to process 1,000 retirements a month. That's one a month,
right,
per person.
And they're outraged when the head of ICE, home of the border czar, says we're unplugging that app. Get rid of it. They spent all this money and time developing that app in order to let illegal immigrants in the country, and they don't have a technological means for employees to retire. I have to submit a paper copy in triplicate.
Gee.
Fuck.
Yeah, but I love that guy. That guy.
Ed's saying it's 10,000 a month, but irrespective of that, they get 45,000 a month. They get 45,000 a month request, so they still have to short them.
Yeah, all right. I thought he said 1,000.
Well, we'll hear.
I actually check it out here in a second. Yeah, let's actually check out that clip real quick. This is, I mean, when you listen to it, you literally go, wait, what? That makes no sense. All right, here we go.
Musk to say a few words, and we'll take some questions. Elon, go ahead.
Sure. So at a high level, if you say what is the goal of Doge, and I think a significant part of the presidency is to restore democracy. This may seem like, well, are we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, okay, we would have to, if you sorry. So I tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes. If there's not a good feedback loop from the people to the government, and if you have rule of the bureaucrat, if the bureaucracy is in charge, and then what meaning does democracy actually have? If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that we close that feedback loop, we fix that feedback loop, and that the public's elected representatives, the president, the House, and the Senate, decide what happens, as opposed to a large unelected bureaucracy. This is not to say that there are good people who are in the federal bureaucracy, but you can't have an autonomous federal bureaucracy. You have to have one that's responsive to the people. That's the whole point of a democracy. And if you looked at this, if you asked looked at the founders today and said, what do you think of the way things have turned out? Well, we have this unelected, fourth unconstitutional branch of government, which is the bureaucracy, which has, in a lot of ways, currently more power than any elected representative. And this is not something that people want, and it does not match the will of the people. So it's just something we've got to fix. And we've also got to address the deficit. So we've got a $2 trillion deficit, and if we don't do something about this deficit, the country's going bankrupt. I mean, it's really astounding that the interest payments alone on the national debt exceed the Defense Department budget, which is shocking because we spend a lot of money on defense, but and if that just keeps going, we're essentially going to bankrupt the country. So what I really want to say is, like, it's not optional for us to reduce the federal expenses. It's essential. It's essential for America to remain solvent as a country, and it's essential for America to have the resources necessary to provide things to its citizens and not simply be servicing vast amounts of debt.
And also, could you mention some of the things that your team has found, some of the crazy numbers, including the woman that walked away with about 30 million?
Right.
Etc.
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened to USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing. Advice, perhaps, but just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, if you look at, say Treasury, for example, basic controls that should be in place, that are in place in any company, such as making sure that any given payment has a payment categorization code, that there is a comment field that describes the payment, and that if a payment is on the do not pay list, that you don't actually pay it. None of those things are true currently. So the reason that departments can't pass audits is because the payments don't have a categorization code. It's like just a massive number of blank checks just flying out the building. So you can't reconcile blank checks. You've got comment fields that are also blank, so you don't know why the payment was made. And then we've got this truly absurd, a do not pay list, which can take up to a year for an organization to get on a do not pay list. And this, we're talking about terrorist organizations, we're talking about known fraudsters, known aspects of waste, known things that do not match any congressional appropriation, can take up to a year to get on the list. And even what's on the list is not used. It's mind-blowing. So what we're talking about here, we're really just talking about adding common sense controls that should be present, that haven't been present. So you say, like, well, how could such a thing arise? That seems crazy. When you understand that really everything is geared towards complaint minimization. So then you understand the motivations. So if people receive money, they don't complain, obviously. But if people don't receive money, they do complain. And the fraudsters complain the loudest and the fastest. So then when you understand that, then it makes sense. Oh, that's why everything they approve all the payments at Treasury. Because if you approve all the payments, you don't get complaints. But now we're saying that, no, actually, we are going to complain. If money is spent badly, if your taxpayer dollars are not spent in a sensible and frugal manner, then that's not okay. Your tax dollars need to be spent wisely on the things that matter to the people. I mean, these things, like, it's just common sense. It's not draconian or radical. I think it's really just saying, let's look at each of these expenditures and say, is this actually in the best interest of the people? And if it is, it's approved. If it's not, we should think about it. So, there's crazy things like just cursory examination of Social Security, and we've got people in there that are 150 years old. Now, do you know anyone who's 150? I don't know. Okay. They should be on the Guinness Book of World Records. They're missing out. So, that's a case where, like, I think they're probably dead. It's my guess. Or they should be very famous, one of the two. And then there's a whole bunch of Social Security payments where there's no identifying information. Well, like, why is there no identifying information? Obviously, we want to make sure that people who deserve to receive Social Security do receive it, and that they receive it quickly and accurately. I'll tell you another crazy thing. So, one of the things is, like, we are trying to sort of right-size the federal bureaucracy, just make sure that this, obviously there need to be a lot of people working for the federal government, but not as many as currently. So we're saying, well, okay, well, if people can retire, with full benefits and everything, that would be good. They can retire, get their retirement payments, everything. And then we were told, this is actually, I think, a great anecdote, because we were told, no, the most number of people that could retire possibly in a month is 10,000. We're like, well, why is that? Well, because all the retirement paperwork is manual on paper. It's manually calculated, then written down on a piece of paper. Then it goes down a mine. And I'm like, what do you mean a mine? Like, yeah, there's a limestone mine where we store all the retirement paperwork. And you look at a picture of this mine. We'll post some pictures afterwards. And this mine looks like something out of the 50s because it was started in 1955. So it looks like it's like a time warp. And then the speed, the limiting factor is the speed at which the mine shaft elevator can move determines how many people can retire from the federal government. And the elevator breaks down sometimes, and then nobody can retire. Doesn't that sound crazy? There's like 1,000 people that work on this. So I think if we take those people and say, like, you know what, instead of working in a mine shaft and carrying manila envelopes to, boxes in a mine shaft, you could do practically anything else, and you would add to the goods and services of the United States in a more useful way. So anyway, so I think that's an example. Like at a high level, if you say, like, how do we increase prosperity? Is we get people to shift from roles that are low to negative productivity to high productivity roles, and so increase the total output of goods and services, which means that there's a higher standard of living available for everyone. That's the actual goal. Everyone's very quiet. People normally is quiet?
Your detractors, Mr. Musk.
What?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating.
Elon Musk has fucking detractors. What?
Actually, that would have been funny to hear that question. I'll go back and listen to that video later on. Well done, though. Well done. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, literally, they ascended into, God, what did he call it?
A mine?
Yeah, a mine. Like, there's an elevator they have to get on and go down into, like, this fucking basement.
Well, first, my guess would be first they have to put it on microfiche.
Or maybe a tablet. Like
literal stone tablet. Yes. Using Sanskrit. Yeah.
It just shows you. I think that waste and abuse is an understatement. This is robbery. This is paycheck robbery. I mean, these people are getting paid.
So you got 1,000 people who can process 10,000 a month. That's 10 a day. Or a month, excuse me. That's 10 a month. I would expect even the government to work at a faster rate than that.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's literally like, this is technology from the 50s.
Yeah.
Like, it isn't. And if you think about it, maybe the 1850s, if they're going down into a mine shaft.
Oh, yeah. And there's one way in and one way out.
Yeah.
Which has got to be, OSHA's got to be squirming over that one.
Well, I mean, OSHA, that's, when I had my remodeling company, OSHA's the biggest joke in the world. We'd have random OSHA checks. And literally the only check they were looking for, if you had $100 bill folded up in the blueprint when you handed it to them.
Yeah.
That's the only OSHA check they wanted. And that's what we used to do. I swear to God, we take $100, roll it up in the blueprint, and you'd hand them the blueprint. And then they'd unroll it, and there'd be cash sitting there, and they'd be like, oh, look at this money I found. And then wouldn't even open the blueprint, wouldn't even walk the job site, wouldn't interview the workers for their safety concerns. Nope. They'd hop right back in their government car and chuck on down the road. OSHA's a joke. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, Patrick, would you explain why you left the
Federal Reserve?
Yeah, right. Everyone, breaking news. Patrick used to work for the Federal Reserve. Tell the people why you left. Why an ethical man left a job.
Well, I knew that it was time. I was working in the accounting department, and I had responsibilities for general and subsidiary ledger accounts. And some of those subsidiary ledger accounts had to do with the Bureau of Public Debt and other agencies that were similar to that would be responsible for getting credits from the federal government for the work that they were doing. And in response, they would
Fuck me, that's funny. Did you oversee its creation in 1930?
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Oh, shit.
Just remember, karma's undefeated.
That's right. I hope
Just
you don't
remember
need
that.
help from CALIX.
Just remember that. I'm not talking to you, Ben.
Oh, I know. Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, the credits would be created, and so the Bureau of Public Debt and some other agencies would get financing. And that would show up on the debit side, would come in the form of bonds and notes that were issued. And payments would come in as a result of work that was being done. And it was $5.17. It was $12.37. And this was a month. And I'm going, this isn't adding up. This just doesn't. There's no way that the securities that are being issued on behalf of the Bureau of Public Debt only result in receipt by the federal government or the Federal Reserve of these paltry less than $100 amounts on a monthly basis, because there's hundreds of millions of dollars of instruments being created on their behalf. So I brought it to my boss's attention, and she goes, all right, start working this, figure it out. Let's go back and, set up T accounts and do all of this other stuff. So I go through the exercise, and she goes to her boss, who's the head of finance, and suddenly this entire responsibility gets assumed by the finance department as opposed to the accounting department. And finance is nuanced accounting. It doesn't necessarily follow FASB or any of the other standards. It's what's convenient for the organization. And I realized at that point that the fix was in, and this was the scam organization that my buddies had been going, that's really not a federal government organization. And I realized that. But that's when it became extremely apparent that it was it was a false front. It was a false front. It was corrupt. It just wasn't what it should be or claimed to be. A quasi-governmental organization that was responsible for managing the financial well-being of the country. They weren't. They sure as hell weren't. So at that point, it became apparent that I needed to move on. So it wasn't too long after that.
And that's how an ethical person would react. Is wait, whoa. So I'm actually a cog in a crooked machine.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And if more people were like you, we wouldn't have this issue, because someone at a higher level would have went, wait, this is bullshit. We can't run an honest organization this way. And it just shows you that the system was created to actually be corrupt and manipulative.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's what Elon's actually talking about is this is systematic. The system is actually built to be corrupt.
Well, that's what has so many politicians angered is that their meal ticket's going to be cut. They're just not going to have access to the funds. It's going to go. It's potentially going away. Now, what happens with these restraining orders and judgments that are being handed out by federal judges remains to be seen. It's been my guess that they knew that this was coming, that the lawsuits would flow, and it's a matter of pushing it up to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
and they want that to come down, and I think that it's going to be an extremely interesting result when they get their heads handed to them, because these federal judges are doing what they can to restrict the executive branch's authority when it comes to orders, EOs.
Yep. And if you look at the Constitution, none of these entities should exist.
No.
They're Congress basically created these entities so that they could never be unelected or removed. And, hang on one second. Word from the sponsor. We shall return.
Ever wondered how safe your online activities really are? How secure is your digital footprint? In the vast realm of the internet, privacy and security are paramount. Without adequate protection, your personal data might be at risk. There are solutions to these issues, and today we're going to talk about two of them. Introducing LIBERY laptops from CALIX Solutions. These cutting-edge devices are meticulously designed to bolster online privacy, providing you the liberty to surf the internet incognito. The World Wide Web can be a wild frontier, but with LIBERY laptops, your online privacy is always protected. We also present you crypto laptops, designed with cryptocurrency users in mind. Equipped to support a myriad of wallets and exchanges, these laptops are tailored for seamless cryptocurrency transactions. They offer enhanced security protocols to keep your digital assets safe. Crypto laptops ensures a secure and smooth cryptocurrency experience. It's time to take control of your online privacy and security. Venture over to CALIX Solutions and explore our Liberty laptops and crypto laptops. Don't forget, our affiliate program lets you earn $50 per sale. Visit calixsolutions.io now or call 7028458276 for more information, because your online safety is our priority.
Absolutely. And if someone is interested in a crypto laptop or a Liberty laptop, Patrick is available. You can text or call.
Or email.
Patrick at, or is it info?
Info at.
Oh, info at, yep.
And I would suggest,
Solutions.
right. And I would suggest using the email, because the team sees the email. If it's a phone call, it comes in on this phone, and it may be off. I may not be able to answer it, but like I said, the team ends up seeing the email, and you'll more likely get a response there. There's also, if you're new and you don't have a laptop, there's a chat line on the website that you can take advantage of. So.
Yes. So any questions or anything like that, check us out at calixsolutions.io and use our chat feature.
Yes.
All right. Now, So back to government corruption. It's
Where do we start?
yeah, it's be a long show. It's I got a message from my guy up in Washington, D.C., who's helping all of the states actually bring in the reserves on like Bitcoin. Florida alone, if they only put 10%, or no, he said 5% of their reserves in Bitcoin, that you're talking almost $12 billion. And that includes government employee retirement programs and all that. I mean, imagine that over all of at least the red states. And then you have the federal government launching in like 2 weeks. They're going to start buying Bitcoin for the reserve in 2 weeks. Where the hell are they going to get 100,000 Bitcoin a month? That's their goal. 100,000 Bitcoin a month for the federal, because they want, or maybe it's 80, because they want 1 million Bitcoin every year of his term purchased. That's 80,000 a month-ish. Damn. That's a lot of Bitcoin. And then you have the competition from Russia, because Russia is allocating, like they want 100,000 a month, because they're, and China too, they're trying to front run America. So where is everyone going to get this Bitcoin? There's only 700,000 liquid every day. And that's shrinking and shrinking fast. So
Yeah. Well, you know, what do we have? Like 1.2 left for miners and fees?
yeah. Yep. Because I think we're at 19,900,000 and so we almost have like one, like you said, like 1.6 million left.
1.2, I think. 1.2.
1.2 left to be mined.
Yeah.
And that's going to be mined over the next, 120 years?
We're going to need a bigger boat.
We're going to need a bigger boat. I mean, right. And it's at some point here soon, there's going to be a shortage of Bitcoin. And that just means price go up. Because I guarantee if the price shoots up to $500,000 per Bitcoin, which is what Elon Musk himself said was a reasonable projection for this year, hey, I'm a hodler, but I may sell some Bitcoin to expand the clubs or something, or have like clubs, built.
Litecoin. Sell the Litecoin.
Sell the Litecoin. Litecoin's a sleeper.
Yeah, it is. It is. Now, to this point, I would caution about identifying yourself as a holder of Bitcoin, because
I don't have any.
I know. Mine fell into the river with my guns, just for personal safety. I'm the hostage situation, the ransom situation, physically becomes a reality when the price of this starts to skyrocket. I mean, what we see as fishing expeditions taking place online, there could be people showing up at your front door going, "We know you got Bitcoin."
Well, if they show up at my front door,
Yeah.
good luck with that, motherfucker.
And I know most of this crowd, same thing, but you have to have your head on a swivel 24/7.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some point where your guard is down.
Well,
and if I never talk about the fact that I have it, the specter isn't raised.
Luckily, I'm always armed. I'm not leaving the house without lead.
Sure.
Because and it isn't just like Bitcoin. It's just the environment of America's like major cities and here's a great question. And you live near St. Louis. You don't live in St. Louis. So you're basically a rock's throw from one of the crappiest cities in the country.
I've always lived in locations that are on the bottom of the list or the top of the list, as I prefer to look at it.
That's right.
Chicago, Kansas City, Rockford, here. Yeah, I've always, at least Detroit wasn't on the list. I got to say that.
Well, I mean, which do you actually travel relatively regular up to a Chicago area?
Yeah.
Which do you think is worst? Is it St. Louis or do you think Chicago? Because I mean, they're neck and neck in like murders.
Chicago.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why would you say that?
The numbers of bad people are far greater than they are in St. Louis.
I would agree with that.
And the geographic locales are larger. I mean, Chicago has a south side and the west side. The northwest side isn't all that hot. The north side isn't all. North side, not near north. But even then, the near north becomes a target area because that's where the money is. So if I'm looking for a target, I'm going near north and downtown, and anything that's fish belly white, because white people are they're going to follow the laws more times than not. There are some that won't, and they carry guns, but most of the folks that are responsible for the armed robberies in the city of Chicago, unfortunately, happen to be black. And they attack their own more times than not, unfortunately. I can't tell you why, but there's also a higher rate of crime against whites and Asians than from whites and Asians on their own. So it's just one of those things where you go, I'm not going to travel on public transportation, or if I do, it's a commuter train.
Oh, I remember when Kelly and I actually went, I think we were going to Chicago. We took the L train.
Yeah.
Fuck that. We got on there and I pushed her back into like a corner and I mean, every sense was like going off. Like, okay, watch all these, because everyone that was a male put out a weird vibe.
Yeah.
So I was on like alert the whole ride.
Yeah.
And when we got off, I had a sigh of relief. Like that was because there were homeless people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah. Public transportation up in Chicago is just, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah. Well, and that's how I used to get to work all the time.
Well, you're a big guy, and you have an aura of I'll whip your head off, fucker. That's pretty protective.
Well, yeah. It does. It does have its advantages.
And I think you got that from actually growing up in Chicago.
Oh, absolutely, I did. Absolutely, I did. And then, working in a prison didn't hurt either.
Yeah, and I mean, you literally grew up when you walked outside. You had on your "don't fuck with me," look, because being weak in Chicago, that's a losing proposition for anybody.
Yeah,
So,
it is. It is. And we spent a lot of time downtown too. I mean, we took public transportation downtown. We took public transportation to Comiskey Park and to Wrigley Field.
now, mind you, that is when public transportation was horse and carriage.
Yes, it was. And that was actually progressive.
Yeah,
Because
that's what the fancy folks took.
yeah.
See, for those of you who don't know, remember the Chicago fire of 1890? Yeah, like something like that. Well, Patrick is the one who accidentally kicked over the lamp that everyone blamed on the cow.
Well, I blame the cow.
Yes.
I blame the cow when they bought it.
Yeah. And he was 45 at the time. So that just gives you
some perspective.
All right. We have an episode of the CALIX Solutions cyber stuff here in about an hour and some change. Heidi had sent you a message last night. Did you get that?
I did not.
I think it was a text on she had received like a notification that shit, because I think you responded to her. It's some type of it was, I can't remember what she was saying.
This was the text about the Easy Pass.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I got two of them to talk about right now. I mean, we can, if you got to, I mean, it's 2 minutes to go over both of them.
Absolutely.
There was Heidi forwarded a text that she got from easypass.com saying that there was that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice, and to avoid excessive late fees on your bill, pay your fee by February 11th, which was yesterday. And there's a link there that you would jump on, and the link was e-zpass.com. Well, I have the Illinois Tollway pass, and I looked at it and was like, that's not right, because I've used Easy Pass when I've gone up to Maine and gone to other places as well. And I'm looking at the URL, and I decide I'm going to call Illinois Tollway, and I ask them, and they go, yeah, that's not it. It's E-Z Pass, IAG, which stands for Interagency Group, because there's 20 states involved in this Easy Pass network that allow one another to people from their states to use the same digital, in some instances as a transponder. Now it's a sticker as a means of paying. Anyway, I tell her, it's a scam.
Yeah, that was funny. I was like, hey, look at our friend.
And my best tone vey. The other one that came across was I got an email from now this is weird, from Bank of America.com, and Bank of America is telling me that I better check my security for my account because they believe that it's been compromised. So I'm looking at the URL, and the URL is bankofamerica.com. I can't remember what the lead-in was. There was a prefix to the email, but it's the root of bankofamerica.com. But America is spelled with an I that doesn't have a dot.
Interesting.
Now there is I'm gonna get this wrong. There is a character used. It's either, I think it's not Afghanistan. It's it's one of these stands, Kazakhstan, or
Yeah. I'll rob you a stand.
Yeah, something like that. Shitholistan.
Yeah.
Anyway, in that language, and it's like Azerbaijan. I don't know what it's some friggin' this side of cuneiform, Sanskrit, created 30,000 years ago. It's still being used by some of these tribes, and in the wingback section,
Illinois stand.
Yeah. In the wingbat section, there is a symbol that is an I without a dot over it. It's the instance where that exists, and it has a different binary value, which means I can create a URL that is unique, although it looks like bankofamerica.com. So anyway, long story short, it's bogus. It's a scam. But even more to the point is you get something like that your initial reaction is, oh shit, I'm in trouble. The creation of fear, a visceral response that has you going, uh-oh, I got to do something. The answer is no, you don't. You just delete it.
Yeah, and this is going to get worse.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And it doesn't matter what it is, but you see the same format of an email, a text. You'll be able to eyeball it right away and go scam and just delete it. Get rid of it. Yeah. If it's real, if it's legitimate, the next time you log in to your Bank of America account, you'll see that there's a specific request for you to go in and check stuff. These one-offs where you're getting batch emails is nothing more than a scam act. So
yeah, and if you guys want a weekly report on scams, we have actually found, like I said, in like an hour, Patrick and I are doing another show for our clients at CALIX, and that's what we talk about is watch out for this, watch out for that, watch out for this, and it actually gives you a weekly report of, hey, you know, if you see this, if you see that, that's his kid. Because actually Patrick has a sacrificial laptop that he uses for all of the, suspicious shit. So that if it gets like corrupted, we really don't give a shit. And
we wipe and we start over. Yeah.
And there's a reason he's worked in a prison. He's a natural, I want to fuck with people, type of person. And so he'll literally call them or email them and, hi, my name's Joe. You called me, and I play the whole, oh, okay, I'll send you $50,000,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Lenny raises a good point about packages. That's one of the more common things is your shipments delayed. Click this link to find out more, or you'll get a text that says something to the same effect, and they'll want you to click the link in order to redirect the package or find out what the delay is, etc. And once you've done that, they've loaded malware on, and they're going to begin to rifle through your stuff and figure out what your points of vulnerability are, and that's when you get the phone call. If they don't just take over control through a SimJack, excuse me, which is we had somebody I talked about last week on the Cyber Stuff show. We had somebody from Canada who was the victim of a SimJacking effort. So they're still out there.
Yeah. All right. Can you let everyone know how they can catch our show here in about an hour?
Sure. Yeah. As Ben had said, that you need to be a client, have to have a crypto laptop or a Liberty laptop. With that, you can go to the CALIX Cyber Suite link in the portal and sign up for either one of the subscription services. There's a Cyber Stuff link, or there's the helpline, which includes access to the videos. The videos are live and they're archived as well. So if you miss it, you'll be able to watch it at your leisure if you want to. The helpline will provide you with answers through a live chat. If we are not there, because we keep business hours with that, you can submit your question and we'll get back to you the next day. So, we do this at 11 o'clock Central Time on every Wednesday. Sometimes something happens, but we'll do it once a week. So it might get pushed to a Friday, but you'll get notifications. We send an email.
All righty. That's this show, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Hoped it was informative. And I hoped that you really took time to appreciate how good looking I really am.
Exactly.
That's the whole purpose of the show, is to see good looking men. And really, Patrick, when he was younger back in the 1700s, he was a good looking guy. He has remnants of it left. But when he was younger, when he was actually teaching Jesus how to actually build houses, oh, he was a good looking guy. All right, everyone have a great day. We hope we see you in an hour. Patrick, I'll see you when I walk out the door.
Sounds good. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.
In a world where your data is constantly under attack, one company stands for your digital freedom. Introducing CALIX Solutions, your gateway to ultimate online privacy and secure cryptocurrency trading. Meet the Liberty laptop. With its modified OS and advanced tracking prevention, it's your shield against surveillance. Access restricted areas, use recommended security software, and browse with confidence. Your digital footprint? Virtually non-existent. For the crypto pros, we present the Crypto Laptop. Pre-configured on premium hardware for secure trading. Optimized for your favorite wallets and exchanges, it's the fortress your digital assets deserve. Both laptops come with expert individual training and support. You're never alone in your journey to digital empowerment. At CALIX Solutions, we put you in control. No more worrying about data breaches or compromised transactions. Ready to join the revolution? Visit calixsolutions.io and choose your perfect laptop today. Plus, become an affiliate and earn while sharing the power of digital freedom. CALIX Solutions. Unlock your digital freedom. Give us a call or text at 702-845-8276 or visit us directly at calixsolutions.io.